Hey Doom Nation, it's Skags here, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Two Doom Men. If you like what we are about, help us spread the message by subscribing to our channels and sharing the show with your friends. That's the best way we can get around big tech's algorithms. You can also help support the work we do by subscribing to our Patreon account at patreon.com/2doommen, or by going to linktree.com/2doommen. That will bring you to everywhere our show has a presence. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the show.
This country is doomed. It is doomed.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
Doom Nation, what's up, guys? We're back here today. You are listening, as always, to the Two Doom Men podcast. It is Skags and your captain. And Skags, we got a special guest here today. You want to introduce your pal?
Yeah, well, Scott, why don't you introduce yourself, man? Go for it.
I am a Patriot artist, activist, and I've been an artist my whole life, and I got into the patriotic thing and the activism back in the 90s when there was a lack of patriotism, which happens every so many generations. And I went to find myself in the art world in the big city of Manhattan, and I saw a lot of hatred towards America and desecration and disrespect to the American flag and those who sacrificed for it. And I was dumbfounded that the creative community, we creatives have more freedom than anybody in the fucking world, if you think about it. And I just could not believe, that us artists who test the boundaries of the First Amendment, who are allowed to step over that line because of that flag and the men and women who died for that kind of freedom. And I was like, I don't want any part of this fucking world. It was a bunch of, it just blew my mind. It blew my mind. So that's back when I said, this is my calling. I'm going to bring that flag back to life through the only way I know how, which is art. And it was like pulling teeth for many, many years, but I stuck with it. And at the same time, back in the 90s, I also noticed this little ugly monster with these little sharp teeth pop out of the ground called political correctness.
Yes.
This is fucking bad. I said, this thing will grow into a Godzilla. So for the last couple of decades, I've been out there fighting and warning people, kind of like Paul Revere.
Oh, it's like we lost him. So we had a little technical difficulty, but Scott, go ahead. Finish what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, about patriotism and how I got started with all of that. It's nice that a lot of artists are now painting flags and stuff, but I know some of these artists who 10 years ago were pissing on the flag. And now that the last few years, patriotism is in again, and the flag, and then all these artists are popping up painting flags and stuff. And it's all good, but I got to pop my bubble because I was there when nobody wanted it, when I was being destroyed, when the art world threw me under the fucking bus. I was a jingoist, a Nazi, because I worshiped that symbol that they call it. And so I stuck it out. And I could have went a different way and made a lot of money and fame and fortune, but I saw something that needed to be done. And that's what a true artist does. He stays strong with his convictions, against the grain, without jumping on any fucking wagons, and build a wagon. And I'm going to give myself credit for that because it's 30 years now, and here we are. Because like I said, back then in the 90s, that's when I noticed the the rising of this small little animal with these sharp teeth that we call political correctness. And I knew that it would grow into a fucking big, ugly beast. And here we are. It is the biggest, ugliest fucking monster we could have ever imagined. And I was warning people. I've been arrested dozens of times, protesting, fighting the political correct, cancel culture shit back 20, 30 years ago. And straight through. And, you know, people laughed at me when they saw me on the front page of the Post in handcuffs or on the news. You know, oh, look at that silly, crazy artist, you know. And I'm like, listen to what I'm fucking telling you people. I'm warning you. This is going to be bad. And I am using the best way I know how, which is through my art. And here we are.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty scary. Like I said, I sleep at night that I was there.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up that you caught on to political correctness so many years ago, because I'm only 32, so you've been an artist, you know, my entire life basically, and you've been talking about this since I was born basically. And even me from a younger age, like early mid-teens, like I knew like there's something wrong with political correctness. This could really go south where you just can't call something what it is anymore. I understand being courteous and I understand being polite, and it's something that I like to do when I, you know, talk to strangers, be polite and stuff like that. But if you can't call a red dog, then what the fuck are you going to call it? You know what I mean? It's a stupid example, but I always knew that political correctness was really going to get out of hand. I never knew it was going to be weaponized, but I mean, here we are.
Yeah, and it's funny because they like to call people who, you know, notice things early on crazy, you know, and I guess they could say that they're saying that now about, I guess you say the way that we probably all three of us here agree on the COVID restrictions and the passports and all this shit. You know, we've all been speaking out against this, and people want to dismiss you. Oh, you're crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist. The government will never overstep their boundaries. You know, comparing it to the way the Nazis treated the Jews, that's not right. You know, it's the same shit. And I guess you could say, right, it started back then with the political correctness, which is just a way that later down the road they can try and limit your freedom of speech, because they're going to say, oh, you can't say that, you can't say this.
Yeah, there's so many things at play with this. Number one is the sensitivity level of the younger generation, the millennials, I like to say, and specifically young white female. And back in the 90s, 2000s, I ran this bar in Staten Island, in St. George, which is by the ferry terminal. And it was more the eccentric part of town, the artsy kind of town. And I ran the bar. I didn't own it, I ran it. I created artwork with wild, painted the outside, did wild stuff. But the beauty about this bar is it was the true melting pot. Everyone knew I was the conservative. Everyone knew I was the token guinea, because I was the Italian guy. We had the token Jewish guy. We had the token black guy. We had the token Muslim guy, the token old man. We had the token young guy. We had the token transgender. We had it all. And we all fucking made fun of each other. And we had a good fucking time. And we shot pool and we got drunk. And I was, again, you fucking greaseball. You know, all right, listen there, black guy. Hey, don't your skin nothing. You know, we fucking had a ball. We loved each other. And then that political correct piece, just the way, I guess, younger kids were taught, you know, that everything is sensitive. And then now, after Trump got elected, all of these people that I was best friends with have left me. I'm nothing to them. I am a racist, bigoted, meanwhile, transgenders back in the 90s and 2000s, they were like fucking poison. But this place, we didn't give a fuck. We all treated each other equal. We made fun of each other. We had fun. And that, look, for Seinfeld, the cleanest fucking comedian in America, for him to be pissed off because he can't even do a concert at a university if he says, oh, that dog was black that was crossing the street before it took a shit, people go up in arms. It's fucking insanity.
Yeah.
But I don't let it, I say whatever the fuck I want. I'm not going to call anybody the N-word or, the Jew word or I'm not that guy. You know, amongst my friends, we know each other. I get abused all the fucking time. If I was going to be sensitive and be a fucking pussy, okay? Every Italian you see in fucking movies is either flipping pizza or in a mafia. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't bother me. And that's the problem. It's just oversensitive. None of these kids is ever getting a fucking splinter. You know what I'm saying?
Pussification of America, man. We always talked about it, Skaggs.
Yeah.
We always talked about just,
you know, I'm also 32, same age as Chris, but, we're both born and raised. I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I worked on Arthur Avenue in the Bronx for a couple of years, Italian family, and same thing. We make fun of each other, hung out. My school was very mixed. I hung out with a diverse crew of people, and it was no big deal. But yeah, the newer generations, I guess you could say, I always like to say, Chris, like our generation was maybe like the last one to not be as offended by everything. But it's not even 100
to play outside.
Not even 100% true either, right? Because I know guys my age who are a bunch of fucking pussies also now and have changed in the past couple of years.
So there are a lot. I mean, ever since I'm on TikTok, I got like 150,000 followers on. I never thought that. I'm 56 years old. I have young people coming up to me like I'm fucking Justin Bieber. And I find that, I mean, more than my usual fan base, which is middle-aged up. These are young fucking kids in their teens, 20s, and they are on fucking board. Maybe it's my humorous but yet realistic delivery, but it's a beautiful sight to see, because it's not, when I post my shit about these young fucking idiots, it's not all of them, but it's that group that are the ones that are fucking everything up.
Yeah, I agree. I think it definitely is your humor and your ability to be honest. Like you seem genuine in everything you're saying. You make an interesting point there also, because we just made a TikTok for our podcast, and we didn't want to do it because of the implications with China and all that shit. But then we realized, we should, because there's a lot of young kids on TikTok, and we got to put our opinion out there. If they don't see your opinion, they'll never see your opinion. They'll only think it's the Democrat establishment, liberal,
CNN.
whatever, CNN point of view. So we decided to make it. So I feel a little bit validated based on what you just said there about how you
People give me heat. Oh, that's a China company. I'm saying, let me tell you something. Okay, if I need a product to create a work of art, and we don't make it here in America, I got to buy it somewhere else, because I have a message to deliver. I always go America first, but they don't have the product.
Right.
I need to make that statement. So it's the same thing. So I'm getting to my audience. And that is my fucking number one job, is to convince people to wake the fuck up and redirect yourself. Open up your eyes and look the fuck around.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll say your message definitely resonates, right? I posted your speech that you gave at the rally the other day, and I posted it on Instagram, and we don't get much engagement on Instagram, but it reached about 3,000 to 4,000 people. A couple hundred people liked it. A lot of people commented on it. I posted it on our YouTube. It got a couple hundred views. That's pretty good. So definitely, man, what you're saying, what you're doing works. Anything, Chris?
All right. Next, my fucking pop my veins out of my neck.
So, Skaggs, you want to roll into the questions that we had?
Yeah, I got a couple questions for you. You kind of already answered my first one about what motivated you to get into activism and artists. But, was there like a specific event or a moment that you realized, like a very specific thing that happened that you had to get into all this stuff? Like, can you trace it back to one thing specifically?
I don't know if it was one thing, but it was that time, like I said, I'm from Staten Island. I've been an artist since childhood. And you reach that point, I spent my 20s. I didn't even listen. And there's at least another point before I continue. These kids that are in their late teens and their early 20s that think they know anything about the fucking world is bullshit. When I was 20 years old, I was getting fucking drunk with my buddies and chasing fucking girls. That's what young dudes are supposed to fucking do. And I got on board a little later. But when I went to find myself in the art world, late 90s, in Manhattan, New York City, you make it there, you make it anywhere. That's where the art community is. And that's where I just kept looking around and going to a gallery and trying this. And I just saw this like hatred towards America. And the flag was a piece of fabric that meant almost Nazi-like, that it was an oppressive symbol. How could you worship a symbol? And I'm like, well, fuck off. I don't need this. I come from a patriotic community. My grandfather was in World War II. My uncle's in Vietnam. The flag was in my grandmother's yard where we played every day. We didn't know what it meant, but now it comes back to you. And here we are. What are you doing? How could this flag is better than any other flag in the world? And I fucking throw my critics under the bus with this. Why? Why, Scott? Why is that the best flag, that thing, that piece of fabric? I said, because it's the only flag in the fucking world. The French flag, beautiful, represents the French people. The Russian flag, the Russian people. The Muslim flag, the Muslim people, and so on across the world. There's only one flag that represents all of these fucking people. Every organic fucking culture in every corner of this planet comes to this place like no other. We're not Americans. We're from everywhere. That's what makes us Americans. That's why that flag is the greatest work of art that I've seen. The Mona Lisa. I flirted with her at the Louvre. I saw the Sistine Chapel. I touched the brushstrokes, the painful brushstrokes of a Van Gogh, and it is unbelievable. But as an artist, the greatest work of art in the history of mankind is the Star-Spangled Banner. It is a work of art, and it was created with the magic colors of the blood and the sweat and everything. So people from every fucking corner of the world can come here and partake in our fucking society. How the fuck am I getting calls?
Amen, man. Amen, though.
Well, don't take the call. We still got the audio
Yeah,
going.
I can still hear you.
That was super patriotic. I'm all riled up.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking the same thing. You know, one thing about the American flag. There you go. We see you.
I'm back.
Yeah, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing about the American flag, definitely, you know, beyond the fact that it is appealing to the eye, it is a work of art. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's, you know, meaning, there's symbolism behind every aspect of it. It's not just a bunch of random colors and lines and stars that don't mean everything. Everything means something on there. And one thing I think is interesting behind this push that people hate the American flag now or hate being patriotic. People get conflated sometimes with the American flag representing the federal government of the United States and then the community of people that live here. When I look at the American flag, I think of exactly what you're saying. My community, my friends, you know, where I grew up, the melting pot of people, the diversity, the culture, etc. I don't fucking think about Joe Biden or Donald Trump's federal government or the CIA or all that fucked up shit that they've done. They might fly the flag at their buildings, but that's not what it represents to me. I hate all that shit. What represents to me is culture, community, and, you know, a society. That's what it represents to me. And people, I don't think, can make that determination between the two.
If I can cut in, because I want to continue what you just said here, which is important, and that's a big issue of mine. And it's all of these, you know, extremely wealthy, famous Olympians, sports stars, movie stars, actors, BLM, Antifa. They are desecrating the flag that gave them this fucking American dream, like this purple head bitch. Okay, how'd that work out for you with your fucking soccer career? Hey, I'm not, but it is what it is. Pay attention to your fucking game. Don't worry about pissing on the fucking flag. And the point is, look, nobody has protested for the last 30 years more than me. I mean nobody. Okay, and I always, all my grievances that I express, I hold that flag with me and I hold it fucking high. And let me tell you fuckers out there, you punks, okay? This is not the greatest, perfect place. That's what makes this country great. We're just 244 years old. We have problems, we have issues. But if there's anywhere in the world where I want to have fucking problems and speed bumps, it's right here in America. So when you're disrespecting that flag for your fucking cause, you're doing one thing. You're pissing off one group of people, not me. You're breaking the hearts of the veterans and the Gold Star families who lost people sacrificing that flag so you can express your fucking grievances. And when you are disrespecting that flag, expressing your grievances rightfully under that fucking flag, nobody is listening to your fucking cause. Trust.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%.
Everybody, all the people who love to piss on the flag and hate the flag and turn there, I find it very hard that they are the majority, people that look at the flag this way for this, you know, stupid cause. I have to believe that there's more people out there that feel the same way as us, that, you know, don't believe it's an oppressive symbol at all or anything of the sort. You know, I am ashamed of the people who would talk down on the flag and want to use it as a symbol to push their agenda. Because it just shows how stupid they really are.
Yeah. Hey, man. I mean, we have the flag in our logo, you know, and when I designed this logo, I put the flag upside down. You remember, Chris, I told you, because I feel like right now the country is in distress. I was like, but I hope that one day I can modify the logo and turn it the right side up, and we'll continue to show with the different sort of logo. So,
yeah,
you know,
the two blessed men.
Yeah, maybe. We won't be doomed. We won't be doomed anymore. Yeah.
It's funny, though, that you were saying back in the 90s, and they're starting to say how the symbol of the flag is full of oppression and stuff. And here we are again, a few decades later, and it's the same story.
Yeah.
It's just worse than it ever was. It really is. It's heartbreaking. But I just see just misdirected and miseducated youth. You know, do you blame these, you know, some of these washed up professors who didn't follow their fucking dream, and they blame it on America? So they are, you know, brainwashing these young children that it's America's fault for everything. You know, and it's just, it's heartbreaking.
No, definitely.
You know, this flag gives you the right to do better with your life, to look at it in the positive. Like I said, it's not perfect. You know, I feel, look, nobody respects a protester more than me. Even if I don't believe in your fucking protest, and I think it's fucking stupid, I have your back because of that First Amendment. It's the sexiest beast.
Yep.
But yet hold that flag up. You're defeating the purpose.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You know, let's switch gears here real quick. I want to ask you about the this key to NYC Pass, which is, you know, which is the vaccine passport. Let's put it that way. You know,
Communism on ice.
What's that?
Communism on ice.
Myself personally, I came to that rally on Monday, and I said that might be the last time I ever step foot in Manhattan again. Maybe outside of going to another rally, but as long as this shit is in effect and businesses are going to enforcement, I'm not going to fucking patronize any of those businesses or support any of this beginning step of tyranny. So my question to you is, like, what do you think people that want to oppose this thing, what do you think they should try and do to get it either to stop from fully going to effect, or possibly down the road, maybe they'll repeal it or get rid of it?
It's such a fucking shame because, you know, I'm a bar fly, restaurant fly. Me and my girl go out to eat. I go out with my buddies all the time. I patronize these places. As an artist, that's how I communicate. I'm old school, you know, and when they shut down these restaurants and taverns in the beginning, you know, I just looked at it as exactly what it was. That's how this country got started. That's how our revolution got started, in taverns and pubs and saloons. And they purposely shut us down because they know that we would congregate in these restaurants, taverns, and saloons where it was only like 1.4% you can catch the disease. It was fucking ridiculous. And it said that restaurant owners, I had rallies, if you remember, I had Max Pub, we fought, I fought to tell these restaurant owners to not comply, but who can't lose their business? They had to comply. But here we are again, and this is going to be tougher because a lot of my good friends and family own these establishments. And do you think that when I walk in, they're going to ask me for my fucking documents, and I'm going to tell them, no fucking way, our friendship is going to be doomed. And this is also part of their plan, the bigger plan, to separate us, to make us hate each other. And it's going to be a dangerous fucking road. I think, look, there was a couple of thousand people at that rally. This is America. Look at what's going on in France. There's millions of fucking people in the street.
Yep.
Millions. I'm working. Well, I have to go on vacation. I guess it's not that fucking important to you. You take a day off to take your kid to soccer. Tell the kid to sit home and fucking play tiddlywinks for the fucking couple of hours. And get the fuck out in the street.
Yeah.
Get out in the fucking street.
I agree with you, right? What's more important? Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Did we freeze?
Go
ahead.
More people would be vaccinated. Millions or more people would be vaccinated right now. Maybe even me. But how do you expect, How does this administration and all these other do as I say, not as I do, self-righteous motherfuckers like Newsom, Pelosi, Lightfoot, the mayor of D.C., de Blasio, when they told us to lock down and mask up, and we're all out doing what we couldn't do. Beauty salon, the gym, the restaurants. Now, Kamala and Biden are telling us, humiliating us, guilting us that we're bad, unpatriotic Americans when that fucking border is split wide the fuck open and these people are coming in unvaxxed, unfucking regulated, untested, and they're putting them on buses and sending them across the country as if they're purposely spreading the disease and they expect us to obey and trust them. Think about how many more people would say, you know what, I'm down with getting it, but don't you fucking hypocritically tell me what the fuck to do when you're not doing it. It's that simple. It's a lack of communication. We're not fucking stupid.
They're excited to use the stick. You know, we said this in a few episodes ago that, you know, there was this pool of people who were skeptical, who had full intentions of getting the vaccine. And they were like, okay, the mask mandates dropped. Things are going back to normal. Let me wait and see if, you know, if things stay normal, and then I'll go get vaccinated. And then boom, we're talking about lockdowns, we're talking about vaccine passports, and we're talking about having to wear masks again. Now you just lost that whole pool of people who were skeptical and biding their time. And so to take it a step further now, you lose all those people. We've had de Blasio on TV say several times, like, we've tried using the stick method. We've tried using the
carrot and the
method.
stick.
Yeah. These politicians, some of them are excited to use the stick method. They can't wait to become tyrannical. And now you're pushing even more people away. Now you got the rebellious people who are going to dig in even deeper. By doing this, you're just looking to cause a problem so you could squash the problem.
Yeah. You know, Scott, going back to a point you made before about how they targeted the bars, the restaurants, places where people go to congregate and socialize. It reminds me even more of, Chris, I think we saw it this morning, somebody in Australia, some leader in the area was, you know, they're under extreme lockdown there. And she says, you know, if you go out to the store to get what you need, don't speak to anybody. Now's not the time to talk to anybody. I mean, come on. I mean, it is Australia, but if that's not fucking telling enough for you, don't speak to anybody. If you see somebody you know in the supermarket, they don't want people to share ideas. Definitely. They want society as divided, as isolated as possible. This way you have to rely on government more for everything. And, you know, they could just get away with whatever they want. They can increase the amount of tyranny and there'll be no one to oppose it. No one will even be able to understand that tyranny is being imposed.
They need mindless sheep. They need them. Go ahead, Scott.
It's here. We're at a very important turning point. I am an optimist. And when people come up to me, which is all day, every day, we lost. We can't. I said, stop. We are at that point. We are at the lowest point. There's no way we can go any deeper. There's just no way. And I just say, sit back. We're going to suffer for maybe 6 months, a year with this administration, with all of this dictatorship and this insanity. But they are eating themselves alive. Biden is eating himself alive. Kamala Harris, Pelosi, all of them are eating themselves alive. Cuomo just went down. De Blasio, they're eating themselves alive. It is the zombie apocalypse on their own selves. So let me get to this point. This is important that nobody talks about because I've experienced it from being in this arena. This all started years ago, before Donald Trump. Back to the whole me in the 90s, so political correctness, and it got worse and worse and worse. And then it got so worse. And the point is that the problem is we are balanced. We're checks and balances. With conservative. I wouldn't want this whole country to be conservative. I'd jump off the fucking bridge. I love the discourse. I love the balance. You know, I am a very liberal person. I believe in a lot of
two-party system.
You know, and I just see things. I'm not going to say prophetically, but as an artist, you see things. And I knew that the left went, now pay attention, people, the left went too far left. And you cannot do that to the majority of people. When I say the majority of the people, all of these city liberals, progressives, there's only pockets of these people in this country. 1 million here. 8 million in New York, 10 million in California. But the other 300 million fucking people are the gears that keep this sexy machine going. And you progressives went too far left and you pissed off these fucking people that I've been trying to tout for 25 years. They finally woke up. And do you think through all of this shit and all the shit that happened with the election and Donald Trump, one of the greatest presidents this country ever had, and 100 years from now, I will look down and his fucking face will be on Mount Rushmore. Mark my fucking words. This is why people are resisting. These are normal people that I know that would get the vaccine. But they're not going to listen to these fucking people who 10 years ago told these working people, middle-class people that just care about their mortgage, their kids. They don't give a fuck if you're a fucking two-headed goat. They don't care. They don't care your sexual preference. You're different. But don't you fucking come and make it so an 8-foot fucking hairy fucking dude can sit and take a piss where your fucking 6-year-old girl is taking a piss. You went too far. That's just one example, okay? And that's why we're at why we are here now. You're not going to change. They know that this country is fucked because of the over-progressive left that went too far left. They need to smarten up and unleft, per se, for lack of better term.
Unleft themselves.
Yeah, I agree. If you're going to have a happy marriage, you got to do a little, you have to make concessions. You have to learn how to live together. You can't just have everything
My
your way.
girlfriend is extremely liberal. She fucking hates my guts. She hates Trump. It's every day. You got to get back. But we have a connection. We have something. Right. I like that. It's fire.
Yeah.
I never dated a that was the same political. It's not interesting. I know what we're going to talk about.
It's funny. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you say that too, because when we first started this, we were always talking about like there's a two-party system for a reason. One side's not right. Both sides have to come together. But Scott, you make a couple of good points, and you see that like you feel that we're going to suffer for the next few months or so. Because I had a question down here. Do you think New York will be able to come together and fight this off, or you think the city's going to fall, the state's going to follow next? What do you think is going to happen to New York with this key to the city passport bullshit?
It's a tough nut to crack, New York, because we are the toughest motherfuckers around, but we're also a bunch of fucking pussies. Not we. I'm saying there's two groups.
I know.
I'm here from Staten Island, 4 generations. I'm that fucking doo-doo-doo. I have been a great artist. But I'm not gonna change my life and be a hoity-toity, pronounce all my R's, and hang out uptown with these fucking people.
Yeah.
I'm my own fucking artist. I am who I am, and that's what makes me a great artist. Not my expressions or the execution of my brushstrokes. I'm not a great artist. I'm a decent artist. But what makes me fucking great is I answer to nobody. I don't answer to the isms of the fucking elitist agenda, the hypocritical, fake tolerant fucking art world. Everybody, serial killers are fucking millionaire artists. But I come from Staten Island. I like the Second Amendment. I'm a NASCAR fan. I like girls. I'm no good. I'm not a fucking real artist. And so I got a little off track there. But
you're right though. That's what they try and do. They want to punish anyone who has a different political opinion. You hear that about people in Hollywood, that there's a lot of conservatives in Hollywood, but they will never voice their opinion because they know they'll be backlashed against them because of it.
They'll get the part in the X-Lax commercial as the stock boy way in the back of the fucking scene.
Right.
They can't, same. I know artists who like me, but they're making money. They're not going to come out of the closet as a fucking conservative. I don't give a fuck. I came out a long time ago. This is who it is. That's actually making me more fucking famous when everybody else was afraid, and that's fine. I understand that. But back to the New York thing. I'm going to fight. I thought by now, after 30 years, I'd get a fucking picket fence down the Jersey Shore and do fucking characters for fucking $5 a pop and relax. But it's worse now, and I got to keep fighting because people don't know how to fight, and I got to teach them. I got to fire them up. And it's nice to see them out there, like you and everybody else. But that's got to continue. I can't do every battle. I did my job. I'm here to fucking, let's go. Do what I've been doing. Do what you feel. Be out there. Housewives, fucking working people, Wall Street, cops, firemen. Take your uniform out and get out there.
Yeah, I agree. That's
Well,
a good
that's a
point.
great
Now
note.
to
Yeah.
when is the next rally going to be?
With that rally, they're having them every Monday, but I have other fish to fry. I'm doing another blue line in front of a precinct here in Staten Island this week, coming up probably Monday, and I'm traveling with the Tunnel to Towers Foundation,
Okay.
where I put the big, cool 9/11 sculpture I built, and it travels with the CEO who's walking from the Pentagon to Ground Zero and making a bunch of stops. So my schedule is like crazy, but I just fire people up. If I can't make it, somebody else takes over. And just
Yeah,
keep
man.
doing it,
Everybody's
man.
got to pitch in. Of course, everybody's got to pitch in.
You know.
Definitely. Yeah, Tunnel to Towers are good people. My mom's helped them before as a volunteer.
Oh yeah, I've been working with them. I've been their head artist for almost 20 years. Raised them a couple of $1 million with my artwork over the years with them.
Very nice.
So I'm part of that. So,
Were you going to say, Chris? Sorry, go
I
ahead.
was just saying, very nice.
Go ahead, Scott.
I'm also working on this sculpture of this little girl, Jaslyn Adams is her name, who was slaughtered in Chicago at the age of 7 back in April, if you remember that story, because of the lack of respect for the police, funding, and over these fucking jerk-off mayors, and crime is running rampant, and these young children are being slaughtered in the street for no fucking reason. Crime is worse than COVID across this country, and it's just sad. So I'm working on the sculpture of this little girl, and I'm going to find a park somewhere to display it. Her name was Pinky, cute little girl. That was her name. She was full of life. But everybody remembers George Floyd's name. Say his name. Say his name. Fine. Say this little girl's goddamn name. Say Pinky's name. Nobody says it. It doesn't fit the fucking narrative. It doesn't fit the fucking narrative.
Yeah, right.
So
They even pick martyrs by the narrative. Like in order to be a martyr, I guess you could say it has to fit the agenda or the narrative.
It's just fucking sad.
Yeah,
It's
which is fucked up, right?
We're not taking serious. How can you? How again? Back to taking serious. BLM. You have some of a good movement. I understand. Look, I was brought up from a very liberal mom. We went to an all-black junior high school, so we would learn about culture. You know, if I was on that bus in 1960 and some white dude got on and told Rosa Parks to sit in the back, I'd have slapped the fucking shit out of him. I'd be in a jail, he'd be in a fucking hospital.
Yep.
That's how I was brought up. I feel your movement, but don't be infiltrated by a bunch of young, white, fucking lonely, sad fucking liberals that are just infiltrating your movement. And if you're going to say what you're doing, what about all the black-on-black crime? And this little girl, Pinky, and a little girl in D.C. that was 6 years old just last week that got slaughtered, and the 14-year-old in New York, and you don't say their fucking names. So how do I fucking take you serious? So I'll build a statue of fucking Pinky and let the world remember her name.
Right, because you actually do care about everybody, right? What about what's his name? David Dorn, the police officer, I think his name was, right? Who got killed? Black police officer, retired police officer got killed during the riots, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there was just another police officer that was shot dead in the streets in Chicago as well, I believe.
Ella French.
Yeah.
And they only the media is only worried about their agenda. You know, like Skaggs and I said, you know, BLM has this great idea and would be a great movement. But what have they done? I mean, build one school in one poor neighborhood. Just do something with all the money you got. Nothing happens to it. Skaggs and I could go work in a soup kitchen or volunteer work, and we will have done more for Black lives than BLM has.
Right. Patrice Kahn Colors, who, what was it? She has how many houses? $1 million homes?
Yeah.
You know, that she obviously laundered money, most likely through the, you know, donations for Black Lives Matter to enrich herself. You know, she's not the only one. The other ones like that. That's ridiculous.
It kills the real movement that people have, you know, and it's
what kills it from the start is the media. The media is going to pick what they want to show you anyway, and they have their agenda set. They got the email in the morning, and this is what you're going to see throughout the day, and that's it.
Right, and then you have what we talked about last episode a little bit too, was what Cori Bush said. If you're familiar with Cori Bush, Congresswoman, about how she, you know, has a right to spend $70,000, $100,000, $150,000, whatever, on her own personal security, because there's been threats to her life. But she's going to work on defunding the police. And then at the same time, she was criticizing Mark McCloskey for using his Second Amendment rights to defend his property. So her argument was, you can't, as a normal common citizen, have the police to defend you or to work to keep the peace. And you also using the Second Amendment to protect yourself, to protect your property. That's not good either. So I'm not even sure what the fuck she was advocating for here. Just complete, lawlessness. You just lay down and die.
For everyone but her.
It doesn't make any right for anybody but her, for the rich elite who could afford their own team of private security, I guess.
Yeah, we call them people fucking assholes. They're fucking.
Yeah,
that's it. They're fucking stupid fucking assholes.
Yeah, I think there's some grifting going on there, right? Just like using the terms in order to fundraise for yourself, so you could stay in Congress and get things passed and enrich yourself. Just points to a larger problem with the way Congress works in general. Chris, you have any other questions you want to ask?
Yeah, okay, so Scott, are you familiar with the National Strategy to Countering Domestic Terror, that little book that the Biden administration came out with?
Negative.
Okay, so
Stop spreading your COVID on me, please.
Coming through the microphone. So basically, the Biden administration set forth these rules and guidelines for how to counter domestic terrorism in the wake of the 1/6 insurrection and what went on. So basically, long story short, anybody who protests and opposes anything that the government is trying to push is considered a domestic terrorist. So I was going to ask and see if you had known anything about that. How do you feel people should move forward once lockdowns start coming back, once more vaccine mandates come back? Because if you go to protest, they're going to consider you a domestic terrorist.
Right. It actually says
set themselves up for
right. It actually says in there, anyone who espouses anti-government ideology will be considered a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
So, like you're saying, Chris, right? The government could pass some other unconstitutional fucking lockdown, and then you come out to protest it, and you'd be like, "This fucking government sucks. I hate this state government, this local government, the federal government." Well, now you just exposed anti-government ideology, so they can label you a domestic terrorist. Maybe, throw you in fucking jail for the rest of your life. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's people are going to go down. I mean, look, when the whole thing happened, I promoted it. I said I couldn't make it. I had some personal family issues, but I did send my 30 by 40 foot portrait of Nancy Pelosi tearing up the Constitution that they unveiled on the steps of the Capitol. I did not promote people to go into the fucking building. I think that was kind of stupid. People did that, but I stand by every fucking thing I said about going there and peacefully protesting your fucking grievances. And people are now on a list. People tried to put me on a list. They shut all my social media down because I was an influencer. So I got some of it back. Facebook, I'm still fucked on Facebook. Yeah, it's pretty fucking sad. But people are gonna have to take some hits. I've taken a lot of hits, and I'm willing to take more. If I peacefully got to express my grievances with the government on the lockdown or whatever, I'll fucking do it. Throw me away. I don't give a fuck. I know who I am, and it's already happened. I mean, look, they're oppressing us on social media. Here's the point. Remember liberalism. These are liberals. What did liberalism mean back in the day? It was like anti-war fucking peace-loving hippies liberated from the tyranny of the government. Fuck the government. Liberated. It's the opposite. Look how liberals turned into the fascists. It's right there in front of us.
That's why, man, I hate. We still use.
You're not fucking liberal.
Yeah, we still use the terms here. Liberal, conservative, but I don't even like that fucking term anymore because, just like you're saying, it doesn't make sense, right? Liberals are supposed to stand for the hippies. Don't trust the government. We don't want any war. Put the flower in the end of the fucking gun. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But now liberals have become the literal authoritarian tyranny government. If you don't do what I fucking say, I'm going to designate you a domestic terrorist and throw you in solitary confinement and whatever. So I don't even like that term anymore. It's been polluted. No, same way they polluted the term capitalism,
And they become violent.
Yeah.
The peace-loving, non-violent person is now burning and beating the shit out of people in the fucking streets, destroying fucking federal buildings, okay, for 4 fucking years. murdering cops and innocent people in the street. But one day, a handful of idiots fucked up, and it's the end of the world, the insurrection.
Worst thing since Pearl Harbor.
And look, probably more to be discovered, right? With the fact that the FBI was involved and whatnot, who knows? Doesn't absolve every idiot of every crime they did. But are you more likely to run into a building when some fucking assholes planning, plotting the whole thing, and that guy ended up being a Fed? Yeah. You know, so who knows? Time will tell with all that stuff. All right, Chris, you got any other questions?
No, those were my two big ones. I mean,
so Scott, why don't you tell everybody like where we can find you, your website, all that good stuff?
I post every day. I just posted a great one today on Instagram and TikTok. You could, Instagram at Scott LoBaido. Same thing with TikTok, just my name. Every day I post some funny but serious fucking shit. So that's where, don't go to Facebook, fuck that. And go to my website, scott.com. I got some cool products. I got artwork, originals, prints, t-shirts. And I got to push that because I'm a capitalist, but I'm not that guy to push sales. But I have to because people don't understand. It costs money to be an activist. I'm not Al Sharpton, where he extorts fucking businesses for millions and millions of dollars, and he's living, And I'd like to say this if I can. I am a little upset, and I always have been, with my conservative, big conservative people, including the media. They have me on some of these shows. I'm not going to mention any, but they kind of drop down on me. And you got all these new talking heads now, young, that think they know everything, and they know a lot of stuff. But I am the founding father of this fucking conservative, creative, politically correct fighting movement, and they just neglect me. They don't back me. They don't fund me. I got to beg for money. I got to, this sculpture cost me thousands of dollars to make out of my own pocket. The rally I had at the City Hall last year cost me $100,000 with the staging, security, everything. I'm still in the fucking hall. So that pisses me off that a lot of these people have an outlet. And look, I don't need to be a famous fucking rich movie star artist. Okay? I would have done that 20 fucking years ago. I am a great fucking activist, but people are afraid of me because I say the word fuck. But they don't want to put me on TV because my teeth are a little gray from smoking and I got a space between them and I don't need to put makeup on and look like a pretty suit to say what everybody else is saying monotonous, in a monotonous way. So I'm a little pissed off about that. Anyway, so support me by going to my website, buy some of my stuff so I can continue this fucking battle.
Definitely. I'll put it in the caption for the video. Listen, man, we appreciate you and everything you're doing. Definitely. We're willing to talk to anybody. We're not, we're just a podcast. We don't give a fuck. We'll talk to a fucking socialist. We'll talk to a patriot. We'll talk to anybody as long as they're willing to talk to us. And, that's the way I think everybody should kind of behave in this country instead of what we got going on now where everybody wants to just cancel or mute or ban the other people for who they disagree with. So thanks again, man. I really appreciate you coming on with us. Chris, if you want to.
Yeah, Scott, thank you. I'm blown away by your patriotism, your activism. You got a little fire lit under me. I wasn't expecting this signing on today, but it was great talking to you. You got a great point of view, and more people need to hear it, and we got to get it out there. And we need to move forward and fight together to solve these problems because no one else is clearly.
Live to fight another day.
Yes, exactly. All right. So Doom Nation, thank you guys for joining in for another great episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Scott, it was a pleasure. And that's all, folks. So have a good day, guys. Peace out, Doom Nation.
Thanks, guys.